Someone is joining. Okay. So here we have some discussion, a small article related to differences between managers and leaders. As we know that leaders and managers are we not totally different, but there are some differences and some similarities are also there. If you talk about leaders and managers or leadership and management, whatever. So here we have some differences that is given in this article. We know that leaders always they are always giving some setting some visions, some goals, and what managers are doing, they are following the rules and so that goals and all the visions. They want to achieve that vision, they want to establish that vision. So like in case of leaders, we are not recruiting some leader, we are recruiting managers. So the way they are coming to the organization, that is also different. And when we talk about management, lot of functions are there that we know: planning, organizing, staffing, controlling, directing, budgeting. All these things are there. Budgeting is coming under controlling also. So these things are there. But if you talk about leaders, leadership is what leadership is doing. Leadership is aligning people. Some vision has been set by leaders, and they are aligning people so that they can achieve that vision, achieve that goal. And that is very much needed. Just always we will, when we have some objective, if all the people are ready to accept, ready to achieve that objective, that is important. So whenever a leader is always looking for some sort of changes, they're interested to bring some changes in the organization, and management is trying to establish some stability in the organization. Always they want to achieve maintain some stability in the organization. Like when they are doing plan, why they are doing planning? Because they want to be in a stable position. That's why we do planning in for everything. Means if you talk about any plan you are doing, suppose you are preparing a budget. So if you are preparing budget, that means whatever the things can happen, means for future you are becoming ready. So that you are doing in planning. So planning, maybe you are interested to introduce a new product. For that you are making some plans. So that is for the future. That means you want to avoid uncertain things, some risk that could be there, some problems that could be there. So that's why you are planning. For organizing also, if you look at organizing, they're also the same thing. We want to get everything organized. So there will be a smooth functioning. That means again the stability. We are looking for stability. Now, when we are talking about leadership, they are always looking for some changes. Now here are some examples, some different areas like counting values versus creating value. So you are probably counting value, not adding it. If you are managing people, so you are not adding any value. Only uh, what managers are doing, they are counting value. Some even reduce value by disabling those who add value. If a diamond cutter is asked to report every 15 minutes how many stones he has cut by distracting him, his boss is subtracting value. So that means here we are considering means here what we are doing, we are counting the value, not we are creating something. So two different things are there. By contrast, leaders focus on creating value. I would like you to handle A while I deal with B. He or she generates value over and above that which the team creates, and is as much as a value creator. So leaders are value creator, we can say. They're developing some value in the organization. Circles of influence or circles of power. Just as managers have subordinates, so leaders are having followers. So what managers are doing, they're creating circle of power. But leaders, they're creating circle of influence. Can you understand this? Here, in case of leader is doing. As I was telling you, they're aligning people. How with they are aligning people? With the help of power? No, they are doing it with the help of influence. They're influencing people. They are giving direction. Now, whether the direction will be followed, whether they will be aligned to that direction or not, that will also be done by the leader with the help of what? With the help of influence, not with the help of power. But as a manager, I have power. As a manager, I have power that is coming along with my position that I will be holding in the organization, the designation that I will be holding. With that, some power will come along with that designation. So I will utilize that power. That's why my subordinates will work. I will utilize power and I will get the work done by my subordinates. Leading people. Yes. Mm. Yes. This is not some kind of power. This is um, what you are doing. You are actually trying to understand the personality, isn't it? You are whatever power means what? Whatever the authority that will come along with your position. Like suppose you are a captain of a team of a cricket team. So if you want to be a leader, so what you will do, you will try to utilize whatever the qualities your players are having, that you will try to utilize. So you will influence them, you will motivate them, you will try to instruct them towards that direction. Whatever the means, whatever the result that you are expecting, that you are sometimes you are judging the personality. You are understanding their whatever their positive and negative things they have. Means some psychological things are involved over here. Psychological things are very important because influence is very much um, related to psychology. You are understanding people's psychology, and that's why you can influence them. Here if you have power, so just you will give instruction. You are not ready to understand the personality, you are not ready to understand the psychology of that person. If you are a manager, if you have subordinate, are you interested to understand the psychology of your subordinate? Just you have some instruction to give, so you will just give the instruction, do the work. That's the thing. Yes, some sort of force we create. Yes, yes. Like when you will find that some managers are leaders as well as managers. That combination also there. So if that is there, so that will be a very good thing. But it is means unfortunately we get very means less managers who is having this leadership quality. In most of the cases you are very much fear of your some fear is there that if you are not following the instruction of your boss you will miss the opportunity of your promotion, so you are just doing that. So that is the case. So in most of the means organization, but as because my manager is telling me so I have to do, so just for my man means as because he has told me so I have to do means that is for my promotion, like that is there, so I this person is having that power again, that power is coming, you see. He's having the power that he can stop my promotion, so he will make a poor performance appraisal. He will give me a poor result of my performance appraisal. So that's why I have to do it. If that means that is the situation in 90% cases, 99% cases. It is very difficult to find that subordinates are very happy with the boss, and just as because his leadership quality, he will listen to his instruction. That is not instruction, means whatever the things he will advise, I will do. Means when we are considering managers as our means someone who will be my advisor, who is guiding me, if that is there, so we can say some leadership qualities there with him, because he is giving me some providing him some way, some goals, so I can improve myself. So these types of people are not only thinking about these types of managers, they will think about not only about the just for the achievement, the target. That is not the ultimate thing for them. They will think about the employee, they will think about the organization. Most of the levels you will find that all of them are looking for their own thing, means in reality I am telling you, like people are interested that if they are in a position, they want to achieve the higher position, and they have also some sort of target, some good impression they want to show in their to their boss. So they are forcing the subordinates and get the work done, and that is the main thing. What the impact is there on the organization, they're not at all thinking about that. Not at all bothered. Then comes leading people or managing work. So, management consists of controlling a group or a set of entities to accomplish a goal. Leadership refers to a individual's ability to influence, motivate, enables others to contribute towards organizational success. Like there, sometimes when influence is there, maybe you don't need any instruction. Just on your own, you will try to contribute something. Fine. So I think if you are interested to hold the to read the whole um, article, I can upload this one. I can provide the link also in your classroom. Now we will go to our um, leadership style. That is there in our syllabus, leadership style. So first of all, autocratic leadership. So what is autocratic style of leadership? Here, leaders adopt. They will the people who are adopting this style of leadership. What they're doing that all the authority is there in the hand of the leader. So they will take the decision. They will have the power, and they will give you some instruction. They will give you some instruction. Yes, they will give some instruction to the subordinates, that what are the things you have to do and how you have to do, everything will be given. Yes. Okay.
Um, ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, actually there is podcast in my home, so now I able to join. Please, may you recap last what you have taught.
Mm, okay. Let me discuss the thing that I have already started. After that, I can go back.
Actually, ma'am, I am joining from my phone, ma'am. So that's why I'm telling you. Just now I'm joining from my phone.
Okay, no issues. You can join from your mobile. No issues. Just wait a moment. I have already started one topic. Let me complete that. Then we can have discussion on the previous issues.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Now it is clear. Teddy? Oh. Yeah. So, autocratic style of leadership. Here, where what we find that the leaders, what the leaders are doing, leaders are always giving some sort of instruction that these are the things you have to do, and this is the process you have to follow. So, everything will be given by the leader. They will give all the instruction. So, as a subordinate or as a follower, what is my role? So, my role will be like this leadership style, some managers they are also following, so that's why this subordinate term is coming again and again. Like always we are not maybe all the time we are not being able to show any proper leadership quality, but some sort of style that we follow, leadership styles, that could be there. Like if some cases of autocratic style of leadership, it is very much present in many places. Like in this case what we are doing, like we are giving everything instruction, all the sort of instruction I'm giving to my subordinate, and my subordinate will not ask anything, he will not give any suggestion or views, or he will just follow the instruction. So what type of communication flow is there? The communication is coming from the leader to the subordinate, to the follower. So uh, that means nothing is coming from the follower towards the leader. And we can say that this type of leadership is not so good, isn't it? So it is not going to be applied. But there are some places where we can apply it. What are those places? Like if a person is joining the organization, so he is a newcomer, he is a new employee in the organization. So he is unaware of the organization's culture, their functions. So what will happen if in this particular situation we can show this type of adopt this style of leadership, so that is going to be effective for this person, this employee. And when the situation like this, like we have very less time in our hand and just we need to take the decision very quickly. So we cannot invest so much of time. So urgency is there. So when we are talking about like after this we have participative style of leadership, there we can see that the subordinates are also participating in decision making. Uh, so here can we invest so much of time, means can we discuss with our subordinates? That time we don't have. So that's why as because we have less time, we can apply this autocratic style of leadership. Then comes the consultative style of leadership, consultative or participative. Here, what we are doing means we are looking for some suggestions, some opinions from the leaders, from the subordinates, and ultimately the decision will be taken by the leaders. But your opinion will be means your ideas, your opinions will be asked. So After that, the final decision will be taken by the leader. And here, the leaders are they are actually delegating some of their responsibilities to the subordinates. So the subordinates are doing those responsibilities, they're following those responsibilities. And uh, what we find, like here, the consultative leadership style will be useful where we find that the subordinates are competent enough. If the subordinate is competent, capable, then only we can delegate some responsibility. If the previous situation is there, that means the employee is a new employee in the organization. So suddenly, if I give him some extra responsibility, he will not be able to perform. So if the subordinate is competent enough, then only we can do so. Then comes the laissez-faire or subordinate-centered leadership. So for subordinate-centered leadership, the leader completely delegates the responsibility. Completely, he is delegating the responsibility to the subordinates. Subordinates will discuss among themselves, they will take the decision. So, here, obviously, we need some people, some subordinates whom we can rely. Means we are, they are competent, totally competent. They are totally competent. They can, means, we can have complete confidence in the subordinates capability. Then only we can delegate all these responsibilities to the subordinates. So in the first case we are not delegating anything, just giving instruction. And in the second case we have seen we are giving some of the delegating some of the responsibilities, and for that some sort of mm, confidence should be there on the on my subordinates. So they should be competent. And in the third one, we should have a very much competent employee because we are delegating all the responsibilities. Then comes the bureaucratic leadership style. In this style, the leader sets certain rigid rules and regulations. And when we are talking about rigid rules and regulations, that means that is not going to be applicable only to the subordinates or the followers. The leaders and followers, both of them, are going to obey these rules and regulations. So ultimately, what is happening? Like it is becoming very mechanical, very rigid rules and regulations are there. So it is becoming mechanical and very mm, minimum level of performance we want to achieve. Why? Because just we want to survive in the organization. So this is the minimum effort I should put to means, maintain my position in the organization. So for that, for the survival, whatever is needed, that amount of effort I will put. So this is the thing in bureaucratic leadership style. Now, manipulative style of leadership. Here, what the manager is doing, he is manipulating, the leader is manipulating the employee. So, how he is manipulating? Suppose the leader is telling the employee that if you perform very well, so I will give you some reward. So he will be very much delighted, very much excited, motivated. So what he will do? He will put lot of effort. So and he will try to achieve that target. And after completion of the work, he find that he has got very small reward or not even got any reward. So will he be very much delighted? So now he will be very much demotivated. Some dissatisfaction will be there. So this type of leadership is giving some, it is increasing the level of dissatisfaction in the mind of employee, And this could be used to motivate the employees um, to perform on projects of short duration. If it is a very short duration, just for one time, you can use this manipulative style. But otherwise, if you want to maintain a good relationship, a long-lasting relationship, then it is impossible to follow, because here people will get to understand that you're not going to give any reward, and they will not follow your instruction. Then comes the expert leadership. So, in this expert leadership, a person with a high level of knowledge and abilities uh, leads the group, and all the time he will try to maintain the leadership position in the organization, and the leader should continuously demonstrate his expertise. And when the situation will get changed, it may happen that whatever the skills or expertise that is there with the leader, that is not important now. That is not relevant. That is not matching with the current requirement. So in that case, we have to replace that person, and we need some people who is knowledgeable and expert in desired area. And this style is useful when the survival of group is in question. Survival is difficult, and the group members are feeling that they need to be they need to be guided by an expert. They need one expert. Now we will discuss about leadership theory. First of all, leadership theory, trait theory. So, what is trait theory? Trait theory means mm, trait theory means in case of trait theory, we are trying to understand is there any relationship is there any relationship of trait and leadership, like whether the leadership is depending upon it, means it is a trait or not. So some research is showing that it is inborn, like from birth we are getting this. We cannot develop leadership skill. So uh, like from birth we are getting, like if we think about Napoleon, if you think about Alexander, so like they are natural, they were natural leaders. So um, what if, means if the situation would have been different, then also they would have shown their leadership qualities, because they are born leaders. Hmm. So we can say that leadership, these leaders are born. We cannot develop our leadership skills. We cannot make any leaders. And another research is showing that leadership skills or leaders could be developed. Why? Because with how we can do that, with the help of experience, we can achieve that. And we can use some training skills or training programs, and from that we can develop our leadership skills. So two different thoughts are there. Now we will discuss about Ohio State study. In this study, this is a behavioral concept. So, first of all, Ohio State study. Ohio State, in Ohio State study, um, actually, one questionnaire was developed for this study. The name was the Leader Behavior Description Questionnaire, and different people from different field, like supervisor on the shop floor, teachers, college administrators, they were being surveyed. And mm, like they wanted to identify different independent dimensions along which an individual's leadership behavior could be studied. So, what are those dimensions? So, if you want to study leadership behavior, so you have to keep in mind these two dimensions. One is thousand dimensions actually were identified, and now they have consolidated that into two dimensions. One is initiating structure and consideration. So first one was initiating structure. So in case the people who score high on this dimension, what they will do, they will put a lot of pressure on the subordinate. They will set some target. They will try to meet that target, try to meet the deadline, and always maintain some uh, level of performance, some standard of performance. And if you think about the consideration dimension, here what we are doing, we are considering our subordinates. We are understanding our subordinates. We are thinking about our subordinate. We are caring about our subordinates. So the study revealed that the people who scored high on both these dimensions, like they are means whatever the problems that is there with the employee, so that for that the leader is there. That means we are talking about consideration. So if a leader is there in scoring high in both on both these dimensions, that means he is thinking about the productivity, he is thinking about the performance, the standard of the performance, the target of the production, and at the same time he is thinking about the employee also. And if we find that some leaders are high on initiating structure, but they are low on consideration, that means always they're thinking about performance, not at all thinking about the employee. If the opposite is there, so we are always thinking about the employee, but not at all thinking about the performance. So, what will be the result? We will get some poor performance. And what will be the result if we have high initiating structure and low consideration? So people will not be very happy, very satisfied. A lot of grievances will be there in the mind of the employee. Then comes University of Michigan study. In this study also, more or less the similar thing like Ohio study, they have also categorized two dimensions. One was employee oriented, another was production oriented. Now, what is employee oriented? From the name only, we can come to know that we are giving emphasizing interpersonal relations. Leaders who score high on this dimension, what will happen? They will take a personal interest in their subordinates' need and accept individual differences among members. Now, leaders who score high on production oriented dimension are more concerned with tasks and goals. So they are production oriented. They consider employees to be the means to achieve goals and pay little or no attention to any problems the employees may face. So employees are no different from machines. So we are considering employees as machine. So we want to achieve the target. So we are talking about productivity. Now, uh, employee oriented leaders achieve higher job satisfaction. That means we are thinking about the employee, so employees are happy, so the we can see that the productivity is also very good. And production oriented leaders achieve lower job satisfaction. The job satisfaction will be low and only productivity is there. Managerial greed we will understand in our next class. And someone was asking for a recap of leadership. We were actually discussing about leadership and management. Okay. So at the beginning, we were discussing about leadership and management. and what is leadership, what is management, that we have discussed. What the leaders are doing, one actually I have shown you one article that is published in Harvard Business Review related to the leaders and managers. And uh, we were discussing about leaders and managers. What leaders are doing, they are means if you think about managers, that you know very well, that what managers are doing, their functions you know, like maybe the planning, organizing, all these things you know. That means what they are doing, they're trying to maintain stability in the organization, try to establish trying to establish stability. If you are doing planning, that means you want to you want to know the future, you want to predict the future, you want to uh, secure your future, some uncertainty, the level of uncertainty that you want to reduce. So that's why you are making some plans when you are doing organizing, so that the functioning will be in a smooth manner. That means any changes, if there are any, means you are trying to avoid any changes or any shifts. What it means, everything, the thing will be in a smooth manner that you want to establish. So that means managers are looking for stability, but leaders are looking for some sort of changes. And that's why they are setting some vision, some goals, and they are aligning people so that they can achieve that particular goal. And um, what leaders are doing, they are trying to understand the followers. They are influencing the followers. They were means influencing, they're motivating, and this influence is their only thing that they are applying. Along with that, some power is there with the help in the managers. So managers are holding a certain position, and they have certain power related to that. And some what they are doing, they are utilizing this power so that the employees will listen to them. But in case of leaders, they are not. They are always utilizing the influence, that power they're using, the power of influence they're using. So they are understanding their followers and making the work done by them. So these things we were discussing. Some link, if you want, I can provide the link in your classroom so that you can also read yourself uh, these differences. So thanks all of you for attending the session.